Okay, let's look at some problems that are just a little bit more challenging. They really just involve another step. And as you can see on this page, we're going to look at one problem, but there's two different ways that you can solve it. Let me show you the first way. This is 2 times w plus 3. So if we were doing it with modeling, that would be like having two groups of w plus 3 equal to 14. What we could do is, to get rid of that, we could just divide both sides in half, okay, which will look like this. Remember, whatever you do to one side of the equation, you always have to do to the other. So if I have two groups of w plus 3, I could just take half of that, and I'd end up with w plus 3. But if I do that to the left side, that would be like dividing this by 2 also. So I would end up with 7. So that should make sense. If two groups of w plus 3 equals 14, then each group of w plus 3 would have to equal 7. So it's kind of like splitting each side in half. Okay, from here then I have a one-step equation. If I want to get w by itself, I'm going to have to subtract 3 from both sides. Since the 3 is added, when I subtract 3, that makes 0 and I get rid of it. 7 minus 3 is equal to 4. Okay, let me show you another method that is a little bit more common. I'm sure you remember the distributive property as a way of getting rid of the parentheses. So, second method is I could distribute the 2. What that will do is I'm going to multiply each of those by 2. I get 2w plus 6 equals 14, and that gets rid of the parentheses. From there, I just have a regular two-step equation. So, like we did in the last video, I need to get rid of the addition and subtraction first, so I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. That's going to give me 2w equals 14 minus 6 is 8. And then I have 2 times w. So to get rid of the 2, I'm going to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. That gives me w equals 4. Okay, and let's take a minute and check our work, even though we're going to do that a little bit more in the packet later. But if w equals 4 is the solution, I should be able to put a 4 into the original equation up here. I should be able to replace this w with a 4. And when I take 2 times 4 plus 3, it should come out to equal 14. So let's check if that works. Here's my original equation. I'm going to substitute the solution that I got, which is 4, in for w. And then don't forget your order of operations. You want to do the parentheses first. 4 plus 3 is 7. 2 times 7 is 14. So you can see that, yes, it does equal 14. So I know that my solution of 4 is correct. Why don't you give the next page a try, and then you can pause the video here and then, check back with it to see if you got the answers correct. Okay, let's see how you did. I think on this page they have the same problems written twice. I think they wanted you to do the problems using both methods, but I think to make it a little bit easier, we're just going to use the method that I think is most common that you're going to see, which is the distribute. So let's distribute and get rid of the parentheses. 2 times x, 2 plus 3. Subtract 6. That gives me 2x equals 4. And divide by 2. Okay, and then we can check our work quickly. 2 times 2 plus 3 would be 2 times 5, which is equal to 10. And you can see the original equation said that 2 times x plus 3 should equal 10, so we're correct. Okay, same steps here. We're going to distribute 6y minus 9. Okay, the 9 is subtracted, so this time I want to add 9 to get rid of it, because that will make that part right there make 0. So you want to check and make sure that that makes 0 before you cross it out. Don't forget, same thing to both sides. Negative 33 plus 9 is negative 24. And then we divide both sides by 6. So I get y equals negative 4. Okay, and then you could go ahead and check that yourself, but hopefully I did that correct. All right, last one. Again, don't be intimidated by the fraction. Let me move this up. We're still getting rid of the parentheses by distributing. Okay, and you can use a calculator if you need to. 1/4 of 8 is 2, so that equals 2x. 1/4 of 12 is 3. Subtract 3 from both sides, get rid of that addition and subtraction first. And then get rid of the multiplication and division, so I would divide by 2. Remember, this means multiply, so to get rid of it, I divide by 2, both sides. And then you could check that on your own as well. All right, hopefully you did well, and you could go ahead and try the next page or two.